carried this mustard seed with me to every treatment, to every doctor visit. And Matthew 17:20 tells us about the mustard seed. Because you have so little faith, I tell you the truth. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. So this is a good time to tell you my story about my encounter with the angel. Just a couple of days before my first procedure, I had a PET scan. And when you have a PET scan, you go in this room and you lay for a while. They inject you with this medicine, and then they take you into this procedure room, put you on a table, and most people have to put their arms over their heads, and it's really cold in there because the machine's really big and it puts off all kinds of heat, and if it gets too hot, there's all these alarms going off, and there goes the comfort zone again. And I'm laying on the table, and I was cold, so the lady had wrapped my legs, and I asked her if she could cover my arms because my arms were cold. And she takes this blanket and she wraps my arms, and she walks out of the room. And I'm laying there, and just as sure as I'm touching this pedestal right now, I felt this touch on my arm. And down both arms, I felt that go around that blanket like it was tucking me in. It was so strong that I looked because I thought somebody was in the room. And there was nobody in the room. I could see the nurse through the window in the other room. And at the time that happened, I used to want to think that was my dad that had come to tuck me in. But I know now that that's not right, because you see, that would have been sad for my dad. And where he is, there is no sadness. That was my angel that came to assure me that everything was all right. So you ask me, do I believe? I know there are angels among us. So at that point, the race was on. Radiation, chemo, doctor visits, side effects. It all hits at one time. This man sitting right down here on the front row has been my rock. From the very beginning, he let me know that he'd been talking to the Lord. He was going to take care of us. And he has. But during that time, everything hits all at once. And even though you're surrounded by people, you feel alone. And that's a scary place. And one night I was standing in the bathroom, and I heard, "Shh, be still and know that I am God." I know my plans I have for you. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 says, pray without ceasing. My dad always said prayer was the best medicine. Bear with me, I'm starting to ramble. When you pray those prayers, think about the mustard seed. And Matthew 21:22 says, whatsoever things you ask in my name, believe in your heart, and it shall be given to you. The first visit to my surgeon was scary. Just a couple of days before, just a couple of weeks before, I'd found out I had cancer. I just had my first chemo treatment, and I was sick. I was in a strange place, getting ready to meet a man that was going to cut me open. And I'm so sick I can hardly hold my head up. And I'm waiting, and I don't wait good. And in walks this very young man, very young, in scrubs and a lab coat, and all kinds of things were going through my mind while waiting on this doctor. I'd noticed this picture on the wall in his office. The picture was of the great physician. See, when I first walked in, I saw this picture. And I saw the scrubs, and I saw the operating room. And after sitting there for a while, I thought there was something strange about the picture, because one man was not in scrubs. So after a while, I walked over and I looked at the picture. And when I got up and looked at that picture, I just had this peace come over me. After a conference with the doctor, he asked if we had any questions, and I only had one question for him when I went through the door. Are you a Christian? And his reply to me was, oh, yes, ma'am, I work for him. And there was that peace. I've told you all the things that cancer can do. These are the things that cancer cannot do. It cannot cripple love. It cannot shatter hope. It cannot corrode faith. It cannot destroy peace. It cannot kill friendship. It cannot silence courage. It cannot invade the soul. It cannot conquer the spirit. It cannot steal eternal life. Having lots of support has been a big part of my recovery. I have a wonderful family who is right there with me every step of the way. And I'm not going to call any names, but I've got a few thank yous to say, and I think everybody will know who they are. Whether it was a shoulder to cry on late at night, thank you. A ride to the doctor every day for 6 weeks. A hug and a kiss at just the right time. A home away from home for my kids when I needed it. For all the meals, the cards, phone calls, visits. For that card in the mail every single week, sometimes 2. Thank you. For listening to me on Wednesday nights and sometimes being late for choir practice. Thank you. For those warm apple pies on Sunday afternoon. Ladies, if y'all didn't know, Rick Millsaps can make a really good apple pie. Do what you can to help someone else. We're commanded to do that. 1 John 3:17 says, if anyone has material possessions and sees his brother in need but has no pity on him, how can the love of God be in him? And just this morning in Sunday school, one of our verses was Colossians 3:12 through 14. Therefore, God's chosen ones, holy and loved, put on heartfelt compassion, kindness, humility, and forgiving one another. If anyone has a complaint against another, just as the Lord has forgiven you, So also